They were shooting the seventh episode of Cover Up, Golden Opportunity. In this show, it is a requirement that he's got to mess around with a gun. He was really tired, so apparently he crashed on a bed in one of the sets.
And he got up very groggy. He was very frustrated about the time.
Procedure is always the gun is empty. There is never anything in the gun. And then before a shot that required any kind of, gunfire, the property master would come and say, I'm going to load it now.
And he picked up the gun and he was just twirling it around in his hand.
He was just messing about, kind of playing Russian roulette, kidding. He always kidded with the crew.
And he was playing with the gun and went like that.
A blank gun, if you shoot it from like here, probably would have been okay. If Jon-Erik would have shot it from here, probably would have been okay. If he shot it from here, probably would have been okay. I don't know for sure, but I know that it was there, and that's why the impact was strong enough to where it did, the damage. The thing that's odd to me is that Jon-Erik had used blank guns a million times.
Supposedly, no one saw him get hurt. Well, why would he be playing around with the gun if no one was around to enjoy his playing? He liked an audience.
But someone did see it happen. When we come back, a detailed account of Jon-Erik Hexum's final moments. On October 12, 1984, 26-year-old actor Jon-Erik Hexum was working on the set of the action-adventure series Cover Up when his charmed life turned tragic.
I was in my trailer when it happened, and I believe it was around 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Frank Lowe is a drapery installer for the film industry. Lowe was on the set that day and explains what he saw.
Jon-Erik Hexum happened to be lying on the bed, and he was apparently, as I recall, loading and then unloading a revolver. And they took a break in shooting, and he remained seated on the bed, and they had closed the door. I was just outside for just a few moments when there was a loud bang.
Lowe burst through the door and saw Hexum's body lying on the bed. The property master working with Hexum at the time of the accident explained to Frank what happened. Apparently, Hexum had been fooling around with the prop gun.
He unloaded all but I guess one round, and had spun it, and apparently what would appear to be a game of Russian roulette, put it up to his head and pulled the trigger. And I don't think he had any idea in the world that it was going to go off.
Stunned crew members reacted quickly.
It was obvious that he was pretty badly injured. He had a hole in his temple where apparently the cotton wad had blown into his brain. Other than that, he was breathing, and a few minutes went by, and rather than wait for an ambulance, we were all in agreement to get him loaded in a wagon and take him to the nearest hospital.
Hexum's cousin, Eric Paulson, remembers hearing the news from Jon-Erik's mom.
I said, Aunt Greta, what happened? And she said, and a little wad of that paper went into his skull and put a chip of the skull into his brain. I told her, I said, if he ever wakes up, I'm going to kill him for being so stupid.
Hexum's friends and family raced to the hospital.
I just looked at him, laying there. He was on machines. I couldn't visibly see anything wrong with him. He looked just perfect. Like, get up, wake up. It was such a waste. It's so sad.
There was a week of like this agonizing week of, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it? And I had nothing, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like sleeping on the floor in the hospital. Didn't want to go home.
They finally pulled him off life support. He was brain dead, and that was it. There was no funeral. It was a very hard time.
Hexum's organs were donated to several patients awaiting transplants.
What's kind of neat about it is there's still a little bit of part of Jon-Erik alive. I mean, his heart is in some guy in Las Vegas, and his eyes and his corneas went to help some young girl.
But those closest to Jon-Erik Hexum still find it tough to deal with the loss.
I mean, it was so silly when one of the tabloids said that he had a death wish. I mean, Jon-Erik was a life wish. God, I haven't cried about him in a long time. I used to cry about him all the time.
Jon-Erik was so much a part of my Aunt Greta's life. I think if there had been anything suspect or odd about it, she'd have been all over it. I just thought it was just a stupid, stupid accident. I can't imagine him doing something like that, yet at the same time I can.
I think people can be very careless on a set, and just to be playing with it and putting it, I mean, it should be treated as a real gun if it's got gunpowder in it or wax or paper, whatever they made it with.
I mean, these are guns. They can kill you. You have to be careful. Under all circumstances, every second you're near them. They're lethal.
It was stupid. The whole thing was nothing but a waste.
When he dies, like part of me died. So, it's tough. Sometimes I still have a hard time comprehending that Jon-Erik's gone. But on the other hand, I still remember him as my big goofy cousin who got to be a movie star.
I think John would like to be remembered as a star, and he was.
A real Hollywood tragedy. You know, it's said that Jon-Erik's ghost haunts stage 17 on the 20th Century Fox lot. And maybe Hexum isn't ready to quit just yet. I'm AJ Benza. Join me the next time we take a stroll down the flip side of the Hollywood Walk of Fame.